No, I was talking to Darius. He was a priority, so we had conversations every week from the time I took over. And knew he was going to be a guy that you have to keep in the program. And had a conversation. I got a great relationship with the mom and dad. They're great people, and we even sat and met at the bowl game.
Yeah, so
He just knew he was a priority. Jamir was a priority. AC, Zion, were all priorities. And the back end is stable. He knew just coming out of the bowl game that we just got to fill the positions around those guys. Like they were priorities.
just a little bit different.
Terry, what does it mean to you? Matt just talked about some of those guys and also the success that you had at the end of the season. For so many of those guys to want to come back despite how difficult last year was, how much pride do you take in those of you who came back to the staff being able to do that and keep so many really talented players here?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of pride to obviously the staff members that stayed, basically the Penn State Lettermen. So we love this place unconditionally. And then we were tasked with keeping as many of the quality Penn State players as possible, and just like we talking about Darius and Tony Rojas and Raplier and Cooper Cousins, and the list goes on. Donka and these guys. It was critical we kept those guys because we need a foundation. And if we got gutted from the Penn State side of it, it's hard to start from square one. And I think we were able to keep the core group of guys that we don't have to start from square one. And then the blended family that came from Iowa State, I think it's a perfect match. There's enough of those guys. It's to be honest, it's almost like Kirk Signetti when he brought the JMU guys to Indiana. We brought a great group of guys with us from Iowa State that's blending with our current Penn State guys. And the workouts have been going great so far.
The foundation has always been the Lettermen. Though, if you look at any of these transition periods, why do you guys take so much pride in building like the next chapters as you go through these transitions?
Yeah, we all love Penn State. Whether we're here or not here, we all want to see Penn State succeed. And so having the ability and the opportunity to stay for all of us was what we wanted to do. We all had different opportunities to go wherever, but there's no place like this. And this place has impacted us
for sure. Well,
in many different ways, and but all of us
was amazing.
And so, we want to just continue to do that. And now, under Coach Campbell, we want his leadership to propel us into the next generation, the next phase of Penn State. And, hopefully that's a lot of wins. We don't want to talk about championship and things like that, but we want to talk about process. How we go about our business. How do we continue to make our fan base proud of us, which at the end of the season, our fan base was very proud of us. We want to continue that and just keep getting better from there.
He says he's all about the history and he's all about, is that real or is that just what he's telling us? And how much do you think he is leaning on the tradition that this place has coming with it?
Yeah, it's real. We've had these last few days, he's met with almost all of the Lettermen. He started with the 50s, 60s, we've done the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, and tonight we have 2010 to current. So we're doing Zooms, and he's opened himself up. He's opened up the building, Lash, to all Lettermen and their families. He's consciously trying to pull them back in. And he's doing a fantastic job. The feedback has been tremendous. It's not just talk; it's real.
Yeah, what does that mean? I mean, you can talk to the Letterman and they'll say like, I wasn't sure if I, showed a grade or what. But for him to do that while trying to assemble a staff and a roster, does that show maybe the importance he's putting on it?
Yeah, because it's so early in his tenure. Right, we're still trying to get to know our guys, put together a staff. every week. We're still hiring people.
Yeah.
Yet he has prioritized it, just like putting together the roster and the staff. So, I think the Lettermen have felt the importance. I think they feel the love. They now know it's genuine. And, hopefully more of them come back, because it's always good to have those guys around and just mentor our current guys. We just can't get enough of that. And sometimes it's hard for our guys when they're here now to see 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 30 years from now. But one day you're going to be that guy. And so to have a guy share his experience of something he went through that maybe this kid doesn't have to go through that. And he learned something to take another path and another avenue to be successful or whatever it is.
You talked about Nittany earlier. Are you trying to take anything from Indiana to kind of have that quick success?
We want sustained success. Obviously, Coach Nittany did a tremendous job and, won at the highest level at a place that had never won. So everyone's going to try to look at that blueprint and figure out how we can tweak and add and change and modify to steal some ideas from those guys. So it's just how sports are. I don't know if that's a total blueprint for us, but I'm sure there's parts of it that we're going to utilize.
Terry, about 10 weeks ago, we weren't sure if you were going to be on campus in 2026. We weren't sure if you'd be the head coach in 2026. You're out of that moment. You're back in the cornerback room. Can you give us a little perspective on what it's like to be removed from that and looking back at it now?
Yeah, I can sleep now. I don't have all these thoughts running through my head. Go back to normal life. It was great. It was a great experience. But reacquainting myself with my corners. When I took over, I didn't coach the corners, and I wasn't in the room. I wasn't a part of that group anymore. But now, just getting back to know those guys, getting to know a couple of guys that came in that were new, and trying to get their mindset right. It's another good group that we're going to lean on to play a lot of good football for us. And they're just trying to demand more consistency out of the group and just reestablish myself as their guy.
What's next for Audavion? We've seen such a linear growth from him since he came over from Mississippi State. And now he's a fifth-year senior, established starter. How excited are you for his 2026 opportunity?
Yeah, when you ask what's next for him, it's obviously to continue to develop, get better, bigger, stronger, faster, smarter, better football player. But what's next really is the leadership. It's one of the things that in my room we've lacked the last couple years is having that veteran guy that was the true leader, that was accountable for the group. And I think
that's how you feel. What is that guy for you?
Yeah, it's been. It might go back to Tariq Castro Fields. It's been a minute. We've had some good guys, but no one to just, hey, this is my room. And so I think Audavion and really Zion, two veteran guys that have played a lot of football and have high expectations. I think that those two are ready. Through the off season, they've been more vocal for our group chat. So I think they're ready to take that next step.
Daryus as a sophomore, how excited were you that he was bought into the new regime here in year 2 at Penn State? And what do you think is the next step? We're sure seem to finish last year.
Yeah, he's an outstanding talent. We're super excited about him. He's got a chance to be really, really special. The best thing and the most special thing about him is his approach, his mental side of the game. Obviously he comes from modern day high school where he learned a lot of good football. He studies the game. He masters his opponent. He's a technician. He works hard in the weight room and he works hard at his craft. So that next step is just becoming a consistent starter, anchoring down his side of the ball, eliminating whoever's in front of him.